So when did it cut off? Do we do the announcement? All right.
So you're good. Let's give them a couple minutes to tune in.
Okay.
Yes. All right. I'm gonna put you on camera. It says it's live, so let's refresh. It's just YouTube and Facebook. So, I see port on YouTube. All right. So you're good. You're live now.
Okay, we good?
Yes.
We live? We on. All right, let's do this again. What's going on, everybody? Had a little bit of glitches going on, but we back online. So I don't know how much you guys heard or didn't hear, but we'll start from the top. So the first things first is a few announcements. And announcement number one is this: just keep in mind, this is the last free month. So this is the last month that the class is going to be free. Starting March is when the payments are going to start. So everybody can get prepared and spend this last month trying to extract what you need to extract and get ready to get rocking in March. Second thing is Nana is online, so he's going to be engaging with everybody that's online now and adding instruction value comments to the class, so he is here. He's not just with us in spirit. He's with us online. Third thing is all those who are able and willing and desire to donate, continue to donate. We absolutely appreciate all the donations that we're receiving because it helps us continue to expand hope and keep creating bigger and better content value for you guys in this class every year. So continue to donate. And the last one is if you haven't signed up, and if you're not part of the Hope community, it's going to be hard for you to keep up because we're going to start posting a lot of homework and communications through our system, our communication system, podcasts and things of that nature. That's going to run through our communication system. So in order for you to receive all of those podcasts and information and homework, you got to sign up. I believe it's just your email address and other minor information. All right. So let's get started. Hold on. I think I'm on the wrong slide. Session 1. Let me get on the right slide. Here we go. All right. All right, the convenience trap. What is the convenience trap? So this first paragraph, it says, our brains are wired to protect us. We sometimes trick ourselves into thinking and feeling we're trying so hard when in actuality we're barely trying at all. The convenience trap. So understand this. The way America was built, America was built on providing as much continued value for the customer as possible. And that is making lives more convenient. Going from riding horses to riding cars, to riding cars with seat belts, from riding cars and seat belts to riding cars with leather seats, with air conditioning, to radios to suspension so you don't feel the bumps, to suspension, to insulation, to airbags. And every bar that we raise as businesses, the bar is raised to make life more convenient for you. And so that's in every aspect of our lives. Whether it's toothbrush, you don't even have to go left to right anymore. You just press the button and it's electrical for you. It brushes the teeth for you. So everything is built in America around convenience for you. And that's how businesses make more money, because it's a convenient contest. They provide all these areas of value. We provide more convenience. You don't got to go to the grocery store no more. You can Instacart that thing. You don't have to go. You don't have to go and buy physical movie tickets. You can do it all online. Everything is about convenience. That's the way we move forward in these Western worlds. It's all about convenience. The dangerous part is that when you enter into entrepreneurship is different. Entrepreneurship, you have to have different relationship around reality. Now, if you think about something like karate, right? We have a tendency to water down every fucking thing in this country over time. Karate. You used to be when karate or martial arts first came to the United States, getting a black belt was hard as fuck. It was challenging. It could take 7-8 years to get your black belt. And you have to go through the ranks and you have to pass these particular tests, and it had to be perfect. But what we have a tendency to do when we bump against something hard, then we create context around it, or we just go and make an easier version of it. And that's what Americans do. That's what a lot of Western worlds do, is we look for convenience. If you have a headache, most of the time, most humans do what? The most convenient thing, and that's take a pill. If you have a child who's a little overactive and he's a little hyper, what do? They offer to give your child a pill. It's convenient. You slow down. He'll slow down like a motherfucker. Problem solved. Now, there's so much that is missed by overlooking the value in that and just throwing convenience out there. Diets and eating right. A lot of times, that's how they get you with commercials and pills and diet fads and all these things, is because life caters to your rhythm and desire to want things to be convenient for you. If shit gets hard, I'm not gonna do the thing that's the most effective in the best time for me that works. I want what's most convenient. I take a pill, or I jump on this fad. You know what? Fuck it. If the fad and the pills don't work fast enough, I just go get that BBL. I save 8 G's, 9, 10 G's and go get shit cut out, because it's convenient. We don't have to do that much work. And so some of that convenience is great. Shit, if we live in the Western world, it's not that it's bad, because I think most of us got houses and cars with air conditioning and heating and systems in it, and they press buttons to do shit. Most of us live in a society where we have those luxuries and convenience. But the problem with entrepreneurship is you gotta know the difference. You have to know the difference as an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurship, that shit ain't convenient at all. The relationship that you have with what works and what is most effective is what you got to be comfortable in. Because entrepreneurship is not one of those genres that can be watered down one bit, period. It's on the same level as like playing in the NBA. It's on the same level. It does not give a fuck about you, your feelings, your past, your childhood, how hard you try, how much you worked, how much this, who your parents were. Entrepreneurship doesn't care. Are you either effective or you not? Or is it the right formula or is it not? If no, go back to the end of the line. You failed. Well, I spent all my life savings, or I don't give a fuck. You have to make sure that and most of the time, it usually boils down to our relationship with convenience. It's the convenience trap. It's our relationship with convenience. Because it's sneaky. The convenience trap is sneaky because it's layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. And it's so many layers of convenience that passes through years of generations. Sometimes you think you're working hard. You're giving it all you got, but you don't realize that you've been hijacked by convenience so much that the capacity between what's most effective and where you are is so wide. It's so wide. So the hard and easy is, I remember the first time that I decided to jump into a cold pool, right? I was, on my woo-woo journey, right? And one of the journeys in my woo-woo world was doing a hot plunge and a cold plunge. And the premise was you jump into the cold plunge and it releases so many endorphins and gives you so much extra energy, and your brain gets rewired in a certain way. And I literally, when I stuck my feet in that cold plunge, I was like, fuck this. Hell no. Black people ain't built for that. We tropical people, we not built for it. Because I never liked the cold. I didn't like being cold. I always got beanies and hoodies on because I don't like being cold. But that was part of the journey, right? Part of the journey. And so up until that point, I never really had a relationship with cold because I had a choice. I lived in this convenient world and deliberately and it's like, nah, don't just put your feet in. You got to get all the way in to where you put your whole head down. And we talking cold as fuck, like 30 degree, like almost almost frozen. And I had to literally like force my body down. I had to force my body down. I had to force again, and I literally went to a fight or flight. Like my body thought it was gonna die. It was scared as fuck because it wasn't because it was life threatening. It's because my relationship with cold and warmth, I never tested it. And I finally after like 3 or 4 attempts, I finally forced my head under and got out. And it was like, I felt like I won the gold medal at a fucking Olympics. But in actuality, all the fuck I did was just put my body in cold water. But the interesting part about it, cold water, I'm not even affected by cold water. It's not even like I had to practice it. It's from that point on, my body adjusted. And if I'm taking a shower and the washing machine turns on, or somebody else is taking a shower and the water turns ice cold, my body does nothing different. It's because it has a new relationship with hot and cold. And that convenient shit is gone because now it knows really what cold is. In the Bay Area, we talk about, man, it's hella cold. Man, in Chicago, y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. I text Chicago folks earlier today. They're like, we in the snow, but we good. And I'm thinking, snow, fuck. We barely get that cold out here, but we always complain about the cold, and we walking around with hoodies with fur on the collar. I no disrespect to my guy Nana, but we walk around like it's hella cold, but because of our relationship. Now, again, when it comes to business success, when it comes to business success, if you're falling for the convenience trap, your rhythm is to naturally look for the most convenient ways to get things done and get where you want to go. So if you already are moving in that rhythm and you're an entrepreneur, that's your natural path. That's the natural path. So the way we work on this convenience trap is, think about, one of the ways we work on the convenience trap is this. One is by association. Who are you around? And who do you get advice from when it comes to this entrepreneurship shit? Because If you are always around and getting advice from the ones who are doing it, they can give you way more clarity about what it takes. Way more clarity about what it takes. So never get advice from people who have not done it or who are speculating or fronting or just talking about it, because their frame of reference between what's easy and what's hard and what's possible and what's not is all skewed. Well, you could just do this. Have you ever talked to somebody and they say you can, in entrepreneurship, have you ever talked to somebody and they say you could just do this? You already know off top that you ain't been there, because you can't just do nothing. Everything is a path, and everything takes a certain amount of skill, strategy, and data collection in order for it to succeed. So one of the best ways to recalibrate yourself in this convenience trap is who you associate with and who you trade bars with from a business perspective. We just got back from Arizona. It was so dope. It was dope as fuck. I got to meet T. Pratt and Mashama, Chris, Nana, and me. We just chopped it up about business ideas and strategies for 3 days. And we got to listen to each other's strategies. We got to talk about our goals, what we're thinking about, where we're going. And then we got to chop each other's goals up. We got to chop each other's strategy up. And so when a strategy came and we're like, nah, that ain't it, bro. That ain't it. It didn't come from speculation. It came from experience, and that's so valuable. You know how much money you can be saved when somebody tells you, nah, that ain't it, in a consensus, and they all got experience and they've been there. That's invaluable. So part of the convenience trap comes from who you associate with. Who are you getting advice from? The second thing is you gotta want the smoke. You got to want the smoke. So you have to be willing to embrace the whole journey. So when it's easy and it's fun and it's cool and then you get accolades or you get praise or response, that shit is always good. But when it's smoke, when it's funk, when it's not fun, when shit is going bad, when ain't nobody checking for you, when you by yourself, when you stuck, when there's problems, all of that shit, because it's not convenient anymore, most of the time we have a tendency to do what? Run. Or create distractions for ourselves. Or create excuses. Or try to find a softer, gentler version of where we need to go or what we want to do. And that don't work in entrepreneurship. When Nana first introduced the wolf and the dog concept, somebody's like, well, what if I just want to be a squirrel? They're in the wild. It's wolf time. You gotta be a wolf, because there's certain characteristics that a wolf has that a squirrel don't. Period. And we can't minimize or try to soften or try to find the easy route without doing the work. Not saying that you can't work smarter, right? Not saying you can't work smarter, but work smarter from where? Where's your reference point of where you work smart from? It had to be from a place of where you worked hard, because you don't know how to work smart off top. You're doing the best you can. When you start something, that's the smartest way for you at the moment. That's your smartest way. But as you grow and expand, you're looking for smarter ways, but that's from the reference of where you started. So understand this. We cannot fall for the convenience trap. A lot of our entrepreneurs, we're falling for the convenience trap. And so by default, we're already losing. And sometimes if we get quick wins or quick successes, that also is a detriment. That could be a detriment to us. If we get quick wins at the beginning, we get a hit at the beginning. Or we design a product and it goes viral. Or we do a viral video and it goes viral. Or we do all those initial hype cycle things that can be detrimental for us, because our mind is tough to wrap around doing the work after that. because it was so convenient. It was easy. Shit, that was, hey, well, tell me about that hit record. Shit, that was my first, I found a beat on YouTube and I just rapped to it one day, just on first take, and shit, it ended up taking off. That's great. But more than likely, that's going to be your first and only. You phasing out if you don't have the work ethic to understand, okay, the work starts now. And it ain't going to be as glamorous as that first hit. So, like, this is very important for you, very important for us. Like, the convenience trap is one of the biggest downfalls for a lot of us, because I hear, man, we've been through so much. I don't want to do shit hard no more. I've already had a hard life. I've already have a hard situation. I already been through so much. I want the rest of my shit to be easy. But don't be an entrepreneur. You can't. It's impossible. Because entrepreneurship is so many continuous moving parts, and you can hit a home run today, and that money's gone in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you got to do it again. So that's the convenience trap. So that leads us to the next one. The lock and key. So I don't know if you guys know much about locks and keys, but that's the guts, the inner guts of a lock and a key. So you have cylinder pins, you have a shear line, you have pin tumblers, you have shoulder, you got upper pins and springs. And so those cylinder pins are programmed to the perfect distance of that key. If you look inside, it's the perfect distance of that key. So when you slide that key in, those cylinder pins are programmed to the perfect distance, not even a half of a millimeter off, so that you can turn the key. So you'll see the different, so when you look at your key, if you got a key right now, pull it out. If you got keys, pull it out. Look at your key. I want you to look at your key for a second. And this key is not grooved just how somebody fucking feels like it, right? That's why you can't, if you have multiple keys in your key ring, you can't just put any random key in the key and it opens. It's because the intricacies of the grooves are so precise based on those cylinder pins that as soon as you slide it in, it's programmed to that exact height. You can turn it. So how does this apply? Is that in entrepreneurship, the peaks of this key a lot of times are the most appealing parts of entrepreneurship. So as mentors, as teachers, students of hope, a lot of times we get high off the peaks. We like to smorgasbord the shit that we learn, right? I like that. That shit sounds good. Man, facts on that. Some people will take a certain peak and run with it and go with it. And it's law to them. And now they're repeating it. They know it in the back of their mind. They're preaching it. They may get a little success from it. They get juiced about it. Oh, give me some more. And you give them some more. There's another peak. Oh, man, that shit's fire. It works. And they go do the same. They get more success. They get positive responses back from it. Like, man, you're hella smart. They start gaming other people up and giving game about it and what they learn and the importance of it and how powerful it is. And then you give them some more. And then you start giving them some game that's in those valley parts. You start giving them game in their valley parts because they know all the peaks now. They got the peaks. But now we're in these little grooves. That's those dark spaces. That's the shit that's hard for you to quit, hard for you to stop doing. You traumatized by some of it. You're triggered by it. And you just kind of rather not. You feel me? Like, oh, man, that shit is hard. Or you'll try and you'll realize how hard it is and you ain't trying to do it again. That shit triggered you. So, I'm going to skip over that. I'm just going to go harder on these peaks. I'm just going to go more on these peaks. So maybe that'll offset the valley parts because I ain't trying to go there. In 2-3 years from now, you got stuck. you getting stagnant, you ain't growing. So the first thing we start doing is blaming the messenger, blaming the knowledge, blaming the situation, blaming where you're getting the game from, blaming, but not realizing your brain, because the brain is there to protect you. Your brain is running from them valleys. So then guess what? You try to put your key in success, you try to stick your key in, and you try to turn it, and the shit won't turn. And you're like, this key is fucked up. That lock is fucked up. The game is fucked up. No. You're just focusing and making grooves where you want it, not where it's effective. You making grooves where you want it. That's the realest shit. I remember when I was on my journey to grow, and I had committed to being willing to divorce anything that wasn't working for me. I don't give a fuck what it is. I don't care who it is. I'm a divorce because my life is fucked up. It's not where I want to be. So I don't know. I can't pinpoint exactly which one of these grooves is missing. So I'm willing to just destroy this whole key and start from scratch. And so I start building. Oh, man, building. Oh, I can stick portions of my key in now. Ooh, I can just feel it coming. Oh, building. I'm building more grooves, and I'm getting there. I feel a lot of progress. But now I bump up against certain things. First was weed. Fuck. Do I really want to stop smoking weed? Well, let me try to not do it for a little while and see what happens. And if there's no change, then it's not the problem. If it's a change, then shit. So I stopped. Now, again, I don't demonize this shit, and I don't judge nobody who do it. But for me, I personally felt, damn, when I'm not smoking weed, I'm more effective and more efficient. Shit. All right. I gotta cut it. But then when it came to other things, there were certain things on my dark side that I was like, I'm not giving that shit up. I'm not giving it up. I'd rather go harder on all these to see if I can offset that shit. Like when I was single, I had hella women. Shit, I like girls. You fucking know that, right? But when it came to building my business and entrepreneurship, I realized, damn, it's too much drama. It's too much juggling. It's too much time. It's too much bandwidth being taken from me that I can be focusing on building my business. Shit. Well, let me try. Let me just keep trying. Let me just keep offsetting. Let me just keep building. Let me just try to manage it because I can't. Nope. Over time, I had to realize, it took me a long time to realize it. But over time, I realized you got to groove. You got to cut that groove. And the thing is, when you cut the groove, it opens new doors. It opens new doors. So there's benefit to it. Some of us are stuck and we're afraid to cut the grooves. Now, mind you, we're all imperfect as fuck, right? So I make tons of mistakes, and I still have grooves that I'm working on all the time because our potential is unlimited. We still have so much potential and upside to us. So there's still grooves that either they're in my blind spot or I still haven't owned up to cutting the grooves in them. However, the goal is to continually challenge yourself. You got that is the mission. Some of us with this hope class shit, like being here 3 years, and I see it so clear. It's not the class, it's not the knowledge, it's not the messenger, it's not the game, it's you. And you are refusing to really cut those grooves in yourself that you know you need to cut. So, that's the thing. Understand this. The reason why I speak on this too is that There's so much knowledge being exchanged in these types of classes that are life changing. But understand, knowledge is not power. Knowledge is not power. People say knowledge is power. Knowledge is potential power. Knowledge is potential power. So, knowledge is potential power. If a brother who can bench 500 pounds and squat 600 pounds and is yoked as hell walks into a gym, it's a good chance that he's going to intimidate a lot of people just because he's sheer size and strength. But he could have never been in a fight in his life and get his ass whooped because he's never applied it. He's never used it. He just has it. Same way with knowledge. Knowledge only compounds when we apply it, we try it, we use it. Then it becomes powerful. The issue with a lot of it too is if we get a class 3 experience because we enjoy sometimes the weaponizing of knowledge because we get a quick high from it. When I'm in sales presentations sometimes, and I see the value of it, I see the power of it. When I'm in sales presentations in my company, and I throw out a hope word, I call it hope word, right? If I throw out a hope word, I watch them fucking eat that shit up. Well, you know what? There's some, you need tension. There's tension between here and there where you want to be. That's where the money is made, in the tension. Shit, I've never heard that. That is tension. That's a good word. And now they're like, damn, I just threw out one hope word. Boop. Imagine all the hope words we got. Cognitive distortion and this and that. And we got so many hope words, right? So there's quick highs you can get from weaponizing the knowledge. And that's it. Sometimes we get stuck there. But the true effectiveness, the true compound interest of the knowledge is we got to use the shit. We got to try it. We got to put it to work for us. Even if we fail, it's still more effective because we put it to work. That's where I wanted to start. Because none of this shit we do for the next year is gonna mean anything if you're scared of the smoke, and you're not trying, you're not applying, you're not using, you're not working with what you know. If you're not applying it, you know of it. You don't know it. If you're not applying, you know of it. You don't know it. Because if I say, hey, you know Spanish? And you say, yeah, I know Spanish. That means if I engage in a conversation with you, then you can talk back to me. Not I know Spanish, like I can, when I hear people speaking Spanish, I can be like, oh yeah, that's Spanish. Most people confuse the two. Any questions on those two before we keep pushing? All right, let's talk about some code of extraordinary mind. This book, again, in order to really grasp the fruits of this book, you have to start with an open mind. And you have to be vulnerable and open to the possibilities. It doesn't mean you have to agree with every single thing or adopt every single thing, because everybody has different, some people have different ideals or views or how they move. But in order to grasp the real fruits and nuggets of this, you got to be open. So let's talk about the Culturescape. Shakina, you want to read? Huh? Oh, you can't read from there?
The world of absolute truth is fact-based. The world of the culturescape is opinion-based and agreement-based. Yet even though it exists solely in our heads, it is very, very real.
Okay. So what this is saying is there's two worlds that we live in. So we're going completely macro right now. We live in two worlds. One is fact-based and one is culture-based. And you got to understand the difference between the two. Now, our culturescape that we live in is just as real in our minds as a fact-based world. Because the culturescape is constantly self-reinforcing. It just convinces us that life got to keep unfolding in a certain way. This is the way it is. This is the way it's always been. And this is the way it's going to be after we gone. So, and if you've been indoctrinated in a culturescape like we all have, being outside of the culturescape will have you fiending for it. You'll feel a void inside you. No matter how broken the culturescape is, you have a void inside you because you'll be longing for that acceptance that you grew up in because you know all the rules. See, the human brain and our psychology and our subconscious mind, it works in such basic ways. Did you die? Did that feel good? Is that working for me? Like those are basic things that your subconscious mind, you're always asking yourself to reinforce certain behavior. So if you grew up in a culturescape that was toxic, your subconscious mind will, hey, did you die? And if no, then when it's good, it's cool then. That's why when we talk about parenting and spanking our children, and a lot of the defenses from parents is say, well, I turned out okay. They say, I turned out okay. Think about that shit. You got beat with a belt for every wrongdoing from the time that you were able to walk to the time that you left your mama's or daddy's house. And your cognitive dissonance tells you that you turned out okay because that was part of the culturescape. Because your culture reinforced it your whole childhood that it's cool to get whooped. And then you grow up with the same mindset, whooping your kids. So in order for you to really rewire your brain, in order to rewire and change your reality, you have to start from the very beginning. And that's the macro of it all. That's the culturescape that you live in. That's saying, all right, shit. What am I inside? Am I inside a fish tank, a pond, a lake, an ocean? Where am I? Where am I? Because I need to get clear on that because that's the absolute truth. Once you get to the absolute truth, you move different. You move different. And that's when you start asking those questions, now you're ready to take on yourself. And to rewire yourself in a way that can benefit you. You can bend reality. You can bend the culturescape. Once you start engaging in absolute truth, working from the culturescape all the way in. So the early questions you got to start asking yourself at the beginning of your culturescape is this serving me? Is this serving me? We get caught up so much in the service to others and pleasing others. It's a simple fucking question, but you'd be surprised how not often that it gets asked to ourselves because we're always serving others. We always doing for others. We always in reaction to things. We always doing things is always the way it's supposed to be. But we rarely ask ourselves, is this serving me? Is this adding value to me? Is it good for me? You see the difference? Is it good for me? Not does it feel good? Because shit, we'll get in all kind of trouble if we just ask them that question. It's not does it feel good? is it good for me? Meaning, does it add value to me? And there's so many things in our culturescape that we live in, that we live in, all the rules around that culturescape, that it gives us so many opportunities to ask that question. But here's the statement that I love from this. It's if you can't win, change the rules. If you can't change the rules, ignore them. And I'm serious. I'm dead serious. I love hanging around other entrepreneurs. When I'm around other entrepreneurs, that's the only time I feel normal. Real talk. It's the only time I feel normal, because we don't play the game the way everybody plays it. We don't follow the rules the way everybody follows it. We don't even think in terms of rules. So I may say something that is preposterous to just a random person on the street. It's crazy. But I'll say the same thing to an entrepreneur, and they're like, yeah, I did that too last week. It's because, that's also why it's very rare to see founders of companies that scale and grow interacting a lot with the public, even their employees. Because at a certain point, the higher you climb, the stronger you become entrepreneurially, the weirder you seem. You just seem weirder, and you're not even on the same kind of frequency or vibration. Not that you're better. It's just you focus so much on scaling and growing and building your business that you think different. Your thought process is different. Even when I have conversations with Nana, sometimes there's times where I can clearly see the distinction between where he is and where I am. In my brain, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not there yet. Because once you start thinking different, the world responds to you different, everything changes. And so you hear the term in the biblical world, casting your pearls before swine. It's sort of like that. So you just stop talking. You just stop being around. You stop interacting, or you just play dumb and be like, yep, yep, that's what's up. That's cool. Yep. For real? Shit, damn, that's fucked up. Man, you told her, huh? Because the minute you open your mouth and start to really engage with speaking truth and fact, it seems cruel. Shit seems cruel. You seem like an asshole, or you seem inappropriate. There's so many things that when you engage on a consistent basis with truth and fact, that it's just hard to interact. It's just hard. So it becomes a rarity. Things you say get taken out of proportion. And most of the time, we're just dealing in the truth or fact. Even the words, hey, what do you think about my ex? It's not up to par. I'll give it a 5 or a 4. In 2022, to verbally give somebody a 4 to their face in 2022. That's the word, and that's the real. And that person can say it with all the love and the desire for that person to win and succeed in his body. And it can be taken in the most horrible ways. So, you gotta understand the goal is to change the rules, change your rules. Why? Why do we want to change the rules? Why do we want to change the rules in this culturescape? Well, let's look at our lives individually. Let's look at your life. You think about what's not working for you, and you think about what you want. What do you want? What are your goals? What are your intentions in life? What are your goals personally? What do you want to be personally? What do you want to have? And if all of those answers to your questions are in contrast with the way you are currently living, that's why you want to change the motherfucking rules. You don't want to change the laws. You can't. It's hard to change the laws. I rarely do that. But we got rules and laws intertwined to where they're the same thing. That's how the Culturescape gets down. In the Culturescape, rules and laws get intermixed and intertwined so heavily that we forget that it's a rule and not a law. Vishen calls it a brule. If you guys have got that far in the book, it's called a brule. Because he goes hard. Brule is he took the word bullshit and rules and made it one word. And called it brule. And that's what that next chapter is. Yep. Go ahead.
Much of the world runs on bullshit rules passed down from generation to generation.
Okay. What does that mean? Much of the world runs on bullshit rules passed down from generation to generation. I give this illustration every year about the gumbo pot, right? The gumbo pot is mama is teaching her daughter how to make the famous gumbo in their family. So, but daughter is from this generation, asks a lot of questions, inquiring, want details. So the first thing she says is fill the pot up 3/4. Why? Just fill the pot up with 3/4 the way. Well, why do we do 3/4 and not all the way? Why not half? Because that's how the gumbo tastes its best. How? Why? I don't know. Hold on. Let me call my mom because she's the one who taught me. She gets on speakerphone with the mom and says, why do we fill the gumbo pot up 3/4? And she's like, that's just the way we do it. That's our family tradition. And she's like, I know, but she want to know why. Why? She's like, shit, I don't know. Let me call my mom. So she calls the great-grandmother and says, why do we fill the gumbo pot 3/4 of the way? And the great-grandma says, because I had a hole in the pot at the top of the pot. So that recipe had been passed down to generation based on an inefficiency in the pot, not because it was effective or in any way made the gumbo taste better. But soon that definition drowned out and it just became Culturescape. And no one asked, because who's going to challenge the authority of a mom except this new generation, right? Same thing. We engage in so much of this that we don't even realize all the bullshit rules that we're following. And those rules have been indoctrinated. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later. That really drives them down and make it really difficult to break free from. Now, let's go to the next slide.
We use rules to categorize things, process, and even people. Rules are handed down by our tribe, often our family, culture, and educational system.
Okay, hold on. So we use rules to categorize things, processes, and even people. So it's not necessarily a bad thing that we do this. That makes us efficient human beings. We can't break down and analyze every single thing every single time, or we wouldn't even get through the day. Our brain is wired for efficiency to categorize things. That's good, it's bad, that's this. Our brain is wired in that way. So the problem is when they go unchallenged, when life isn't working, or business isn't working, or situations aren't working. And we forget that we have the power to change those rules, to toss them. And most of the time, those rules have been handed down by our tribe because that's where we come from. We come from tribes. That's part of our culture. Like us black folks in America, we don't got a lot because of what we've gone through. We don't got a lot. So we've created our culture as we were here, we created a semblance of a culture. And so a lot of times we love and we adhere to the semblance of the culture that we created here in America. And most families, most educational systems, most religious systems will double down on giving you those rules in order for you to adhere to them when they're not around. Keep going.
For example, do you remember choosing your religion? Or how you got your ideas about love, money, or the way life works? Most of us don't. Many of our formative rules about how to live come through others, and these rules are tightly bound to ideas of what is good and bad, right and wrong.
So, all the rules that you have in your head, understand that most of those were passed down to you. And we're not that far from slavery. We're not that far. We're a few generations back. What was it? What did Nana say? Your maybe great grandmother was a slave? That ain't that far. So you think about the time and the progress that we've made as a people, it's amazing, absolutely amazing. But understand, there's a whole bunch of rules and rules that we carry as a culture that are bullshit. They don't work. Imagine once we opened our mind to this type of thinking, imagine the acceleration that we can have in life, in business, in situations, once we go in manual mode and start running these rules through our filter. Let me see. Let me look at this one. Does this work? Yeah, let me try. No. This one? No, I don't want that one either. I'll throw that one away too. That ain't shit either. Imagine. Honestly, that's the real difference. Successful black entrepreneurs that I know, they move on a different rhythm. They don't even follow the same rules. They don't give a fuck about what you consider blackness or what the culture says or what black people do or what. Man, they don't give a fuck about none of that because they already made it clear in their minds at a certain point in their life, my life isn't working. Toxic relationships, toxic money, toxic self, depression. I hate my life. My kids is wilding out. I'm divorcing all of this shit. And I'm willing to embrace what works, not what my culture tells me is cool. Again, this is the sad part about our culture, is that this is what Nana says. We celebrate the lowest amongst us as black folks. Other cultures celebrate their geniuses, their inventors, their innovators, their educators, their entrepreneurs, they're trailblazers. And then the celebrities are thrown in there somewhere, actors, but they're not overemphasized. They're not overinflated because the way how society moves forward is through that group. Us, we got hoopers, we got athletes, we got boxers, we got entertainers, we got actors, we got rappers and singers. And that's our voice. That's our voice. In black culture, that is our current voice. It's part of our culture. And so that reinforces a broken culturescape. I remember when I was young at elementary school, and I was walking to school. I may have been in second or third grade. This is early. No older than third grade. I was going to Maxwell Park Elementary in Oakland, walking up the hill, and I seen one of my classmates, and he said, "Oh, you carrying books? You trying to be smart?" I I lost the books that day on purpose. I lost the books because I was embarrassed that I didn't know that and I never carried a book again. Because my culture says trying to be smart and carrying books is whack. Showing up to class without books and unprepared, not even a pencil, is cool. And guess what? You get reinforced for that. The girls like you more because you're a bad kid. You talk back in school a little bit. The hard kids respect you. They like you. They mess with you. The girls like you. You get reinforcement for a broken culturescape. Let's go on to the next slide.
Ideas such as how to harvest, hunt, cook, and communicate get passed down from generation to generation, allowing civilizations to steadily grow in complexity and scale. But it means we may be living our lives according to the models that haven't been upgraded for years, decades, even centuries. Blindly following may be efficient, but is not always smart.
So all the rules you have come from beliefs. So every rule that you have has a belief attached to it. So if you think, shit, it takes money to make money, or money ain't everything, or I'm spiritual, I'm giving myself, like I'm not material, I'm not focusing on material things because I'm storing my treasures in heaven with God. All that shit is part of the culture that you grew up in that made that culture feel good. But how's it working? Even if the church told you that growing up, they still expected you to donate that bread, to tithe. When that plate passed around, you have to put some bread in it. Or guess what? The culturescape of the church made you feel some type of way if you didn't, because that's how that culturescape was built. But yet you still walk around with that brule in your regular life. See, we're not that far from those. Hold on. Hey, we're not that far from those hunting and gathering days. We're not. 100 years ago, we were doing a lot of hunting. 100 years ago. 150 years ago, most of us was hunting. It's not a long time. It's not a long time. So that same mentality, our software, mental software, and our adaptation hasn't been upgraded that much. And a lot of times we still rely on our family, our circle, our friends to pass down what the culturescape actually is for us so that we can be more efficient in life. And if those models haven't been upgraded, it's like you driving around a 1950 Ford in 2022. And that's what we look like sometimes. And we'll think somebody's from the future. But really, in actuality, we just haven't upgraded our software. We haven't updated our models for living, and we've allowed our culture, our civilization to stay where it is. There's civilizations in the world right now that are untouched from Western world. There's one right off of the coast of India. It's a civilization. They have not been touched. No modern technology, nothing. I think some white folks went in there one time and gave them some cigarettes and some alcohol. And they said, stop doing it. Y'all are depressed. We don't even want you. We don't want y'all alcohol and cigarettes. Y'all depressed. But the way they hunt, gather, get food is the same thing that they've been doing for thousands of years. Now, us as black folks, us as people of color, us as black folks, if you're on the edge, meaning if you're entrepreneuring, your goal is to create something. As an entrepreneur, your goal is to put something out here in this universe that that creates and carries and adds value to the world, right? So you're an innovator. You're a trendsetter. So if you're at the edge of the universe in terms of who you want to be as a human, as an entrepreneur, you have to make sure that your software mentally is as updated as it could possibly be, period. There's no way that you can build an empire on Windows 95 computer. Or motherfuckers are on computers and you still with a pen and pad and a calculator. And then we get angry or we get upset when we're not winning, or people passing you up or making more money than you. And part of it is because we're in autopilot and we're still blindly following the rules and culturescape that was given to us by somebody that we respected. Let's go to the next one.
Most of us follow rules because we are manipulated by authority figures, the need to belong, social proof, or internal insecurity.
Okay, so this is deep, and we're gonna go deeper in each one of these in the next slide. Now, I gotta play Nana up here because we got that rhythm going, so I'm gonna play him. Now this is pimping 101. This is pimping 101. The best way to manipulate someone, one of the best ways to manipulate someone is to use these three. Authority is one of the biggest ways to manipulate another human. If I come in and I have a doctor's coat on with a stethoscope around my neck, just imagine me with a doctor's coat and a stethoscope around my neck. Stethoscope. And I say, look, you need to get this booster shot that's coming out in 2 weeks. It's important. I'm a doctor. I have a PhD. And I signal to you that I am because of authority. You're way more likely to believe than just some random person, or if I just told you looking like this. Authority figures, that's why you can go to jail by misusing your authority if you're a manager, police officer, or anybody, because authority has a dramatic effect on whether or not somebody will listen to you or follow you or not. Most of us follow rules and are stuck in our culturescape because somebody of authority told us. Somebody with a badge, a suit, a doctor's coat, some kind of outfit, used their authority and manipulated your mind, and you locked it in because of their authority. From an entrepreneurship, if you flip that on the other side, use authority as one of your marketing tools. Use authority as one of your marketing tools. If I say, in my business, on my team uniform side of my business, if I have an ad that says 100 top coaches agree Courtsmith uniforms are the best, that ad gets me way more bread than just saying Courtsmith uniforms are the best. So on the flip side of that, as an entrepreneur, use authority. But just know that authority is being used to keep you in a culturescape. Second one is, and we're gonna go deeper in these in the next slide. Let's go to the next one.
Have you ever followed the rules and got to the end and realized it was a complete waste of time?
So, you grow up, they tell you college, college, college. Everything is to build you up for college. High school, elementary school, you go to the best junior, you go to junior high school, you pick the right classes, you don't pick certain elective, you don't pick basket weaving because you know it doesn't do much. You do all this extra shit to position you to go to the best schools and to go to the best college. Because they say what? They say you're going to get a good job. Because that's the Culturescape. The Culturescape says you're going to get a good job if you follow this plan. And go to the best school you can, get the best grades you can in order for you to succeed. And you do it. And then a lot of times people graduate, they end up being inundated with student loans, bills, and they ain't doing much better than somebody who don't have a degree. Or they get to the end and they realize it was a fucking waste of time in terms of what they want to do, because the job that they currently have has nothing to do with their degree. But we keep doing this. Why do we keep doing it? Because it's the Culturescape. It's the Culturescape. No one is broken or detached or came forward and say, stop this shit. Now, there are companies now who are they're increasing in hiring employees without degrees, or they're not tripping on what school you went to. They just want to know you could do the job. That's starting to happen in Silicon Valley and startups and tech companies. But for hundreds of years, that was the move. And so a lot of us have been bamboozled by that whole philosophy. It's not saying that going to school isn't good or it can't be beneficial, but like once you break from that rule and that idea that college equals success, man, it's an option. It's one option. Most entrepreneurs are C students at best. Most successful, I'm talking billionaires, were C students, college dropouts, blah, blah, blah. So some of us didn't have a lot of options. I couldn't go to college. So it wasn't even an option for me. In my brain, I had to make it happen either way. So I don't got no college degree. Matter of fact, I graduated high school by the skin of my teeth. I had a 1.9 grade point average. You can look that shit up. So I did horrible in school. And the reason why I got the 1.9 is because the last 2 years of my high school, they put me in remedial classes for slow people. So I literally was on the yellow bus. I was literally on the yellow bus. Don't make no sense, do it. Can't fathom it. We make millions of dollars at what we do. And I was on the yellow bus, the short one. So something got to be up. Now, check this out. I wanted to go to college just like everybody else. I had the same dreams and goals I thought college was the epitome of success. Getting a scholarship or going to a good college just like everybody else. It's just I had dark sides that I couldn't control that put me in a situation where college wasn't even a thought. It wasn't even an option. So that's my point. If you've ever been a part of a Culturescape and you followed the rules and you got to the end and you realized this was whack. Who invented this? Who told me this was going to be good? So I'll tell you this story quickly. Here's the shit. So past not going to college, there were a couple people who knew they said, Court, I know you smart. So I'm going to give you some tools post-graduation high school. And if you can pass these courses, then I'll get you a job. I got hooked up at a good job. The tech world is booming. I'll get you this job. So it was these little trade school classes that you could take for trade school. Went to the trade school, passed the test. I went all the way through the end. I let my friend know it was like a big brother mentor to me, and he got me hooked up because he had 3 sisters that worked in Silicon Valley at the same company. So he got me in. So everybody around me, my family, my friends, everybody are like, Court, you got lucky as fuck. You came up. Like you somehow like produced a miracle, because from where you was to where I had friends who went to college and couldn't even get to the shit. I'm like, look, I don't know how it happened, but God is good. And so I'm like, this is a 1 in a million situation for me, so I'm not going to fuck it up, because I can never get a job like this again. The minimum requirements for a lot of the positions in a job was a bachelor's degree, which I didn't have shit. So I work hard. I go hard at the company. I give them everything, every idea, new thing, new this and that. I'm going hard. Overtime, showing up early, late. They give me promotion after promotion after promotion after promotion. A few years later, I'm a supervisor. I'm thinking, damn, I hit the American dream. I'm making $100K a year. $100K a year in the late 90s. And mind you, I'm 5 years old. 24, 25 years old. I beat the system. And I'm like, I used to laugh, like, if they only knew who they let up in this motherfucker. That feeling didn't last long. I was like, I'm not happy. This ain't fun. Like, this life is whack. These people are whack. This situation is whack. I don't want it. This ain't me. So can I really see myself doing this till I retire? Fuck no. I don't like it. But the other voice is like, bro, do you know this is a 1 in a million situation? You slipped in through the cracks of this shit. This will never happen to you again. You better shut the fuck up and stay here and just keep eating and doing your thing on the weekends. So guess what I would do on the weekends? I would go do hood shit on the weekends to try to balance out my bullshit ass life. So I go back with my hood partners, try to do hood shit to A, let them know that I ain't forgot where I came from, and B, to give me some kind of balance, some kind of harmony in my life. But soon, the separation in money and quality of life was so wide. My hood friends was like, wasn't feeling me, because they're like, man, you eating, you doing good. Like, what you doing? I was unhappy. So then I had to get to a situation where I'm like, damn, I got to quit this Culturescape. The Culturescape that was making me a middle-class living. I got to quit the Culturescape. And it's just preposterous to think about. My wife at the time, my mom was in the hood before. So when I got that job, I brought her out the hood, bought her a house, and she moved in with me. And I put her on a deed. That was her first house she was ever on a deed of. And my wife at the time, when I told them that I'm considering starting my own company and quitting, they both cried on me at the same time. Boo-hooed, belly cried. My mom was like, your dad used to do all this harebrained shit, and now I got to go through it with you again? Yes. So that was their Culturescape. But I got to the end of the rules and it wasn't good for me. So here's the next piece of it. That shit takes a tremendous amount of courage to break free from a Culturescape that pressures you and makes you think that what you're doing is right. Imagine how much courage it takes to tell your mom, nah, we gonna do this shit anyway. And to tell your wife the same thing. Let's go to the next slide.
5 ways we take on rules. Childhood indoctrination.
Okay, let's stop there. Childhood indoctrination. Childhood indoctrination is where we talk about nature versus nurture, right? So childhood indoctrination comes from the nurture principle, meaning all the conversations, trainings, discipline, rewards, carrots, sticks that you received from your parents, from your siblings, from your culture, from your school, from your teachers growing up is is how you are following right now. That's part of the makeup of your rules. Childhood indoctrination. And those are tough because most of us don't remember past a certain age. So you don't even know a lot of times where you got that rule from. And if you don't remember where you got that rule from, a lot of times it comes from childhood. Because from 0 to 5, there's a lot of indoctrination from your parents. There's a lot. There's a lot. If you were raised in a household that said, here's a simple one. Here's an easy, simple one. If you were raised in a household that said, you better eat all your food. You better eat all your motherfucking food. Don't leave nothing on that plate, or you can't get up. There's people who fight with obesity right now in their 30s and 40s and 50s based on that childhood indoctrination. Think about the butterfly effect. It seems very simple. But you have people who struggle with obesity because they were drilled and indoctrinated by their parents with fear and pain and abuse if they didn't eat their food. I remember doing the same shit. And when I was a kid, I would do the fake sleep. I did the fake sleep a lot. Oh, you getting a whooping when you get home. I'd fall asleep in the car. Be wide fucking awake, but I'd try it. And you better eat that food or you can't. So I would fall asleep at the table, thinking that they'd like, oh, he fell asleep, lift me up and take me to bed. They leave me on that fucking chair, and I wake up and they'd be like standing there, finish eating your food. Then I do the throw up, make myself throw up. Ugh, I'm sick to my stomach. Yeah, okay, go finish throwing up, and then when you get done, you're gonna finish eating that food. So the hard wiring, fucking strong. And so some of us struggle with a lot based on that indoctrination. Imagine uncovering that and being like, oh shit, that's silly. I'm not in my parents' house no more, and that rule doesn't mean much anymore. It's retarded. Excuse me. There we go. I'm about to get canceled. I'll see y'all later. That was I can't think of a new word for it. But anyways, imagine being able to uncover those rules and seeing the new trajectory, the new butterfly effect of your life based on those rules. If you really think about it, childhood indoctrination is the foundation of the rules that you have. Let's go to the next one.
Authority figures.
Authority figures. So we talked about authority figures already. Authority figures is so easy. It's so easy to manipulate. There's so many people who were adults when we were children. You know, we were taught to listen to adults. We're taught to listen to adults. And so authority figures, anybody who have a PhD, a degree, authority behind their name, or even if they just look like an authority figure over the course of our life, we follow certain doctrines or rules just based on someone's authority. Scientists say, some people they think scientists are God. Scientists are regular humans who are trying to figure shit out too and know just tiny bit more than we do about a certain subject only because they've gathered a little more data. Some of us will take scientists' word as God. Or doctors, or coaches, or parents. Yes, parents. Nana says this, I love this one. I love this. About us having realized that some of our mamas was Cardi B. Some of our mamas was Cardi B. Some of our daddies was 2 Chainz, but and the book that I'm reading now that Nana put me on game to discusses that, is that it's natural for us to glamorize and hero worship and gloss over the fucked up part about our parents. And so we create our own pictures. We paint our own stories. That hero worship our parents, and shit, they was Cardi B. They was Cardi B. I love my mama, you know, but I'm able to give her so much empathy and compassion because her first husband was an athlete and was a pro athlete, and her second husband was a dope dealer. Where I know the kind of female she is right now. Like I know what those females are right now. There's a certain kind of female. You want the baller. You got to be. I know them. So she was just trying to figure life out and do her thing, and she was a beautiful woman. So she was using it to get as far as she could get. Can't be mad at her. But it helps me not glamorize her. Helps me give her empathy. Helps me give her empathy and compassion. So when she do dumb shit, I don't make excuses. She's just a human. She broken just like the rest of us. Let's move to the next one.
The need to belong.
The need to belong. Shit. This is a tough one. A lot of y'all, we think we Lone Rangers, independent, introverts, all that shit. We have a strong need to belong. And if you can't go counter that need to belong for the sake of what's good for you, you'll get stuck. I remember the first time I said, all right, I'm not smoking weed no more. Not smoking weed no more. That's it. My partner said, hey, we going to the studio and come through. All right, cool. I go to the studio. They pass around a blunt. I just grab it, smoke it, hit that shit. So then after I'm like, fuck. I said I wasn't going to do it. But the rhythm, the community, just the idea of going against that grain of the rotation, no, hell no. You just don't do it. Like, I didn't even have the guts at the time. I didn't have second order thinking to think, all right, I'm not smoking weed. What's next? What's going to happen? What do I need to avoid? What do I need to shore up myself for? What do I got to do? I didn't even think that. I just said, I'm going to stop. And when I got to the first situation, fucking failed. I didn't even try. Second time, I'm like, all right, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. That's my life. Shit, this is my situation. I can do what the fuck I want. I ain't going to let nobody tell me when and what. So I'm in another situation at a cousin's house, auntie's house, studio, something. Blunt passed around. I say, nah, I'm cool. What? Oh, you square. As soon as I hear square, give me that shit. Because no, you dare not call me no square. Hit that shit. Now it's a fair. I took 2 L's. So now I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Have some fucking courage, Court. If you say you're going to stop, stop. So the moment I said no and I stood on it, I got roasted because I'm going against the culturescape. I am going against the culturescape. So I got roasted for 5 minutes. Sat there and got roasted. Mind you, I used to be the weed man at some point in my life. So you go from being a weed man to quitting smoking. I got all kind of roasted. So I had to absorb those blows and just hold firm to get through that shit. And that shit is hard. It makes you not want to do it. That's how hard it is to break free sometimes from the culturescape. Now, over time, it got to a point where I got comebacks. I would have comebacks. And I got comfortable and I got cool. I don't give a fuck. Like I created a language in those situations that put me on the offensive, but it was a transition. And anytime you go against your culturescape, most of the times it's going to feel similar. Because you're literally going against the grain, you're going against the rhythm, you're going upstream for a little bit. And going upstream to the culture, the first thing they do is persecution. It's all fun and light and they capping and roasting, but really it's a tribal form of persecution. And you got to be able to withstand it. That need to belong is a motherfucker. Let's go to the next one.
Hey, real quick, we have a cool question about question scientists.
Question of scientists?
Yeah, just take it over. Oh yeah, well, you say something, you just tell them.
Testing, testing, 1, 2. All right, right. Turn my mic up. Check. All right, listen. So there's a concern. Somebody, I want you to elaborate. I kind of elaborate a little bit. I've been following a lot of Q&A online, but there's one that I think requires a little bit more attention, especially in this culture where everybody is, the right wing, left wing, is questioning scientists are weaponizing scientists to drive certain conversations. And I think it's important to kind of tell that when you talked about, when you question scientists, why that's important, how you do that, how all scientists, information that comes from the scientists shouldn't just be blindly followed. But I just thought you should probably just elaborate just a little bit more on that scientist point.
All right, dope. Scientists. So, first, the macro of science is always evolving, ever growing. Scientists, the whole position of a scientist is to continue to grasp more data and grow in information and prove the last scientist wrong. The beauty of science is that the whole goal is basically to shit on other scientists. And that's what helps culture grow. That's what helps culture expand. Is say, this scientist he studied this particular thing for his majority of his career, and this is where he left off. And this was his hypothesis, and this is his thesis, and this is his statement of how this particular area of life or the world or situations work. And up to this point, he's the expert in the situation. The next scientist coming through, his job is to take that and expand it to the next level and find the holes in it and expand on what worked and create new truths. And that's the beauty of science, all the way up to this point. There's science 100 years ago that said you can snort cocaine, or you could take cocaine to feel better. And scientists said it. Scientists. So the idea is not that you ignore all science.
Yeah, well, those scientists are, I kind of like, what's wrong with the cocaine?
It's not to ignore all science. You know what I'm saying? You like a couple bumps every once in a while, But the goal for the entrepreneur is to seek the absolute truth. It's to seek the absolute truth. If you're not married to a particular authority figure or the way a science approached you, and you're not married to the dogma of either side, you're looking for truth, you're way more likely to get closer than a lot of other people. Just because you're a Democrat, or just because you're a liberal, or just because you're a conservative, you're only going to listen to these parts of what these scientists instead of those scientists. That's where it's dangerous. As entrepreneurs, we're fluid. We're not divorced. We're not married to any of this shit. We're looking for truth. We're trying to get as close to truth as possible. We're looking at data. And we're not 100% married to data either. We're looking at data objectively. So it's using your discernment. Like when you look at things from a lens detached from the culturescape, science looks different. Even science looks different. Oh, that's wrong. Or, oh, like with this COVID shit. Or with anything. You can on any subject, there's a PhD that says keto is good. Keto is a new wave. Keto diet is a new wave. And there's a scientist that'll write a book that next year saying keto is dangerous to your health. Same degree, same type of scientist. So science is not for you to it's not a right and wrong thing. Science is for you to extract data and extract your truths in the moment, because that shit can change. Shit can change tomorrow. And as long as you're objective and you're open and you're observant and you're seeking those changes as well, you're looking for the changes, then you're going to get to the truth. That's what it is. I mean, I don't wait for scientists to tell me shit for me to move. When I started meditating, that was witchcraft. In 2003, 2002, to black people, meditation was witchcraft damn near. I don't give a fuck. It works for me. I enjoy it. My life has changed from it. 2007 comes around, and then a couple meditation books come out, and then people become more, but I'm still a weirdo. 2015, scientists now say meditation, there's 1,400 ways that meditation can improve your, or 1,400 studies that show that meditation improve your life. Shit, I'm not waiting for them, because we're seeking what works, what's effective. How does it work? How does that serve me? If it serves me, I'm on it. So once you remove the hero worship from it, you can use scientists as tools to help you navigate. What does the science say about this? Even on my woo-woo shit, I'm always looking to see where science is at it. Where is science at? Do they agree? Do they disagree? Have they caught up? Have they not caught up? Is it just we're ignoring it at the time? On all of my woo-woo shit, because I love scientific studies and understandings and see where humans are with the unknown. That's where I am with science. You look at Newton's law. I study a lot of quantum physics too. So you have Einstein and Isaac Newton. So Einstein came and shitted on some of Isaac Newton's laws. Newton was the guy. Einstein came and was like, that ain't right, that ain't right. Let me show you why that's not right. Because you can split this atom and create this bomb. They didn't know that before. So because the theory of relativity changed and shitted on a couple of Newton's laws. Now that Einstein is gone, there's scientists now that are uncovering some of the broken parts of Einstein's theories. And that's what science is. So it's ever growing and ever moving. All right, next one.
Social proof.
Social proof. Man, so if you decide you want to eat something, you want to go, I want Thai tonight. I want Thai. What's up with Thai restaurant tonight? A lot of us go to Yelp, right? And we look for them what? We look for them stars. We look for them stars. And if something got 1 star or 2 stars, you ain't fucking with it. If something got 5 stars or 4.5 stars, and they got 1,000 people that said this is a 5-star restaurant, at a certain point, you take that on. Not saying that that's bad, because again, that's how we monitor and become more efficient as a species. We rely on social proof. We let the next person, back in those days when we were hunting, I don't know what that leaf is. I'll watch you eat it to see if you die. If you didn't die, then okay, it's good. But we rely on social proof. But know that social proof is also dangerous as fuck. I don't give a shit if everybody's doing it. I don't care. I don't care if everybody's doing it. Does it serve me? Is it good for me? If you're allergic to coconuts and everybody's eating coconuts, what do? You at the restaurant saying, does this have coconut in it? Why? Because it's not good for you. So the way you treat life is the same way you treat an allergy. Man, is that good for me? So social proof can be a useful tool, but you have to ask that question. Does this serve me? Is it good for me? I don't give a shit who's doing it. When everybody popping Molly, when everybody start, it's a drug every generation. At one time in the 80s, crack was that drug. May have been Molly's for you or weed for somebody else, some other generation, popping pills, Percocet, syrup, whatever generation that you're a part of. But in the 80s, crack was that. That's why you don't just do shit that because everybody doing it. Because at the time, it seemed like everybody was doing it. Think about that shit. Everybody going to college. Everybody. That's how you lose. It's always a fad. It's always when everybody remember Forex. Everybody was a Forex trader. Where are the Forex traders now? Motherfucking gone. Where are the Amways and all the MLM people? Gone. Because it's fads that come in and they get social proof to suck you in. Look at this check. And they make the check big so everybody can see the shit. Look at this big ass check. Social proof. And they have a big crowd in the audience clapping and jumping and looking good and looking nice. And that's how we get got. MLM, fucking all that shit. The question you ask yourself is, how does it serve me? Does it work for me? Does it work for me? Does it serve me? Is it good for me? Like being selfish as a human, in order to be an entrepreneur, in order to create your reality, you have to be selfish, self-ish, meaning you always have to process things through the filter of self, of whether it's good for you, because you're not good to anybody if you're not good for yourself. You can't show up for anybody if you can't show up for yourself. So, like, I use social proof for data, but when everybody hops on a wave, there's a new social media tool out every 2 weeks. It's Clubhouse this week, it's that the other week, it's TikTok, it's that, it's Snapchat, and we just being tossed around from wave to wave based on social proof and other people around saying that that's the shit. That's how cults are created. Social proof and authority. So understand how important it is for you to not to be married at all to who's doing what. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. Everybody's going to the clubs on the weekends. Everybody's doing this. Everybody going to Cancun. Everybody. Next thing you know, you'll realize you're living your whole life based on what everybody else is doing, and you're like a leaf in the culturescape. You're a leaf. And you're a lick to an entrepreneur. You're a lick to a manipulator, scammer, pimp. You're a lick. Because all I got to do is show you other people doing it. Think about it. In marketing, what do brands do? They'll pay an influencer or a celebrity hundreds of thousands of dollars. For what? Just to show them with the product. I'm Big Snoop Dogg. I drink essential water. Like, why does that strategy work? Because motherfuckers are stuck on social proof, and they're dumb enough to buy essential water just based on that. They paid Michael Jackson like $40 million in the 80s to drink for a Pepsi commercial. Think about that. Businesses are intelligent. Businesses make billions of dollars a year. So think about that being a smart business decision for somebody to pay one black kid $40 million just to dance and hold the Coke at the end of a commercial. That's how strong social proof is. One last example. In Hawaii, I was reading this in, I forget which book. In Hawaii, a princess in Hawaii committed suicide. Forget what year it was. In that year, suicides in Hawaii went up like 600 and something percent. Like social proof can be dangerous. Last one.
Our internal insecurities.
Ooh, shit. Our internal insecurities. What does that mean? It means we also create rules. We'll create rules on the fly and on the spot. We'll create them. Meaning if I walk in and I'm sick as fuck, I'm feeling like shit, and I usually like, hey, what's up? How you doing? I give you a big hug, slap hands hard. But that day I'm feeling like shit and I'm barely here. And somebody comes up and they go to speak and they're expecting that same kind of hello, and I give them like, hey, how you doing? And I give them like the shoulder, the little bump. Some people, if they have internal insecurities and they're high, they'll make a brew instantly. What, Courtney ain't fucking with me no more? What's going on? What did I do? See, that's why these motherfuckers be acting funny. See, that's why I can't stand these dudes. Like, this is what, see, I ain't even, like, I'm not even gonna fuck with, or is something wrong with me? Maybe I'm not good enough no more. Maybe he sees that I'm not good enough no more. I'm not gonna come no more. I'm not showing up. Or I'm not gonna speak to him no more. Like we'll make rules on the fly based on our internal insecurities. And if our internal insecurities and our self-love is low, you are pretty much prisoned by your own rules, let alone the other four. And a lot of us can't understand why we can't get off the ground. Think about it. A lot of us can't understand why we can't get off the ground because most of it, we got all these rules that we created off of just some bullshit of our own insecurities, and we're following them. Shit. Insecurity, think about it. All the stuff you don't eat, things you don't do, places you don't, people you don't talk to. A lot of that comes from internal insecurities, and we're missing out on the juices of life. Do I have this as a slide? Yeah, I do. And
Before you get to Mini Maker Machine, man, these conversations are intense online. A lot of dialogue. You're killing it. But there was a question that said, they was asking about in social proofing around the crypto. And then somebody even asked, so should we question crypto? And then somebody said also, should we question Black Lives Matter?
Ooh, so yes and yes. Question it all. Question all of that shit. Now, if you question it with observation in mind, and you question it with curiosity, and you question it searching for truth and what works for you, then it's a good chance you'll get to a place where you can make a decision. But just because crypto is out, crypto could be for you or it could not be for you. Crypto is another form of currency. Is it big? Can it be? Of course it is. Crypto's huge. But you got to ask the same question. Does it serve me? Man, 2 years before I started Courtsmith, I was working as a designer at a clothing company. And this kid, the dude I worked for, was brilliant as fuck. Borderline genius. I'm just going to say it. Maybe he was. Genius. Smart, innovative, next level. Taught me a lot about how to build. Taught me a lot on the back end side of how to run my business. And he passed away. He just passed away a couple years ago. Because the other aspect of his life, he couldn't let go of some the dark sides and addictions. But fuck all that. He was brilliant. Loved the dude. He says, hey, this is 2012, 13. Hey, I got some cryptocurrency. There's some cryptocurrency shit. It's popping off. It's going to be the next big thing. I'm buying some. He bought like $10,000 worth of crypto in 2012 when it was like, what, $5, $6, $7? It was low. You got to get in on this, Court. I was like, I'm saving up for my business, to start my business. I'm focusing on starting my business. After he passed away 2 years ago. He had a wife and 3 kids. They're good forever. They're good forever. Before he died, he like, Court, you need an investor? I got all this money. I don't know what the fuck to do with it. You need some investment? I was like, nah, I'm good for now, but let's talk later. But we never got a chance to talk because he croaked on me. But, so what, did I lose out? Did I lose out on the cryptocurrency phase, on the cryptocurrency thing? Nah, because I invested my money in my business and my purpose and what I was doing. So yes, cryptocurrency is dope for maybe for some folks, but for me, I kept investing in my business. So maybe it's not good. Maybe there's some people who got rich, but then look, and once it passes a certain threshold, and once it gets past a certain certain threshold, anything becomes basically you're late to the market. So now you're just playing with pennies. It's just the truth. MLM, the bottom of the MLM, folks, is eating. By the time you hear about it and you're like, all right, should I do it? Should I not? Should I do it? Should I not? You jump in, you the last one, and it collapsed on you. Or by the time you join fucking Amway or any of those get rich quick type of situations, Herbalife, the bottom they're making all the commit. You at the top fighting for pennies for everybody. You late. So yes, I would question it all, but the question is not whether or not you can make money doing it or if it's profitable to do, is how does it serve you in your skill set, in your purpose, in your path, and where you want to be, and who you are, and what you're good at, and what you have where your path is. Like, you got to question whether or not it's good for you. Does it serve you? I was also early in the medical marijuana game where it was legalized, and man, I could have took all my street experience and converted that into legal money. That's not my purpose. That's not my path. That's not my path. So no, I don't want to do that. Court, you hella stupid. You already in. I'm good. I'm gonna go start this shit, which is knee deep, is waist deep in my purpose. And this is where I thrive and where I want to be and where I can add value to society and the world. Not that. I'm not knocking you. It just don't serve me. Black Lives Matter is some bullshit. Period. You ain't got to do no research or question it. That shit's whack. And it's unraveling fast. The more time that gets spent, the more we're realizing that this version of Black Lives Matter and even some parts of feminism are completely broken. But we're going to stop there and keep it pushing. Next slide. The meaning-making machine. So again, the meaning-making machine is in our heads. That's what's running. Like those on the internal insecurity side. The meaning-making machine. If you listen closely, it's a verb. It's an action. It's a statement. You're not asking questions first. You're making meaning off of a situation. Like, our meaning-making machines are what slow us down because they're if-then statements. If this happened, if he did this, if she did this to me, it must mean this. And guess where you're creating all your meanings from? The rules you have. The rules you had that came from what? Childhood. childhood indoctrination, authority figures, your need to belong, and social proof. It's not rooted in fact. It's not rooted in absolute truth. It's rooted in bullshit. It's rooted in bullshit. It's just like that pot. And your job as a person who desires to live an extraordinary life, to blow the fuck up, to be bigger than where you are, your job is to theoretically call your great grandma and say, why do we do it 3/4 to find out that it was a hole in the pot? If you don't find out that there's holes, you don't find all the holes in the pots in your life, you're going to be stuck making meanings off of bullshit. It's just the real. It's the truth. And in entrepreneurship, nobody's going to give a fuck. You just going to die on the vine and just be gone, and nobody's going to care. Life is going to move on. You got to fight for your internal desires to make impact on this world. You got to fight. It's not nobody going to hand no shit to you. You got to fight to create your space. So you got to work. In basketball, there is very toxic parts of basketball. As I get bigger and deeper into this space, there's parts of it that are very unsettling to me. And one of the parts is this. The space that's created for you to mistreat boys and kids and players, it's such a wide open space to mistreat kids, because the pathway of basketball it doesn't have a floor. It's unlimited, because our culturescape, the way our culturescape is created, us black folks will put our sons and daughters into the culturescape of basketball and sacrifice them from 6 years old to 18 years old to see if they can get a scholarship or maybe go pro. We voluntarily put our kids into that culturescape. So there's an unlimited resources amount of people who are fighting for this 450 slots in the NBA. And there's 20 million players in the U.S., just the U.S. Globally, there's 440 million kids fighting for a 450-player spot. So coaches, team owners can treat players like shit. I don't give a fuck if you're the next LeBron. If you're 14, 15, I don't give a fuck if you're the next LeBron. Guess what? All I got to do is wait a year or two. There's another one coming. So I can mistreat you. I could talk to you like shit. I can do whatever I want. That's the culturescape. It's the culturescape. So it's unlimited. It's unlimited in amount of kids that are plunged in the culturescape. We don't celebrate kids who win the science contests, or coders, or programmers, or entrepreneurs, or business owners, or any. There's not enough rah-rah for that. So we plunge, because of the culturescape and because of the rules, we plunge our kids. We just give them to the gods, the game gods, and we wait for the kids to be spit back out or for them to somehow make it. Think about that shit. It's crazy. When you got 440 million people competing, there's a 0.000000003% chance. All right. Let's move on to the next one.
Extraordinary minds question the rules when they feel those rules are out of alignment with their dreams and desires. They recognize that much of the way the world works is due to people blindly following rules that have long passed their expiration date.
Man, we don't play around with no expired rules. Not even one bit. Shit. Ain't gonna waste my time, my money, my situation, my livelihood. Fuck that. We ain't playing with no rules. Us, me, Nana, Mashama, T. Pratt, Chris, we get together and we challenge each other. We challenge each other's rules. Period. Ain't nobody mad at the end of the day. Because guess what? If I lose, you just upgraded my software. I'm eating better tomorrow. If I win, I just add value to you. I just helped you upgrade your software. Fuck around with no outdated rules. I don't give a shit what I've gone through. I don't care what I've gone through. I'm not tied to nothing. Nothing that I believe in, I'm not tied to it. No, fuck that. Because I'm not where I want to be completely. So I got more growing and learning to do. So with that thought, there's new rules out there that I don't know yet, that I need to find and learn and adopt and adapt and execute so that the juices of my life continue to grow and get better. Man, let me tell you some shit. Living this life is amazing. Like, partly the reason why I'm here and I know why Nana is here, man, this life is amazing. Me and Nana sat up and talked till like 1 a.m. about just certain parts of our lives, right? Some of that shit is stuff that people would fucking dream of. Not even a million years. And it's normal history. Because it's normal history for both of us. What? You did that too? Oh, I did that too. Oh, shit, that's crazy. I did it too. Oh my God. And it's rock star shit. It's rock star shit. It's crazy shit. It's like when the way your life can open up once you start this process, I can't even begin to tell you how amazing your life can unfold to be. It's just hard to describe. It's just hindsight. You guys laugh and joke about all the stories and shit that I have. It's because I don't have no rules. I don't. And the rules that I do have, they're there because they work. And the minute they're not working, they gone. And because they're being upgraded by a new rule. Now I got stories too. He just don't give the details. The same motherfucking stories. So when it's over for me and I croak and I'm out of there, man, I live 14 lives. I had a good ass time. Not because it's luck, not because I'm better. No, it's because some of the most amazing shit that happened in my life was when I was broke as fuck. I just don't move with the humans' rules. Whether you tell me it can be done or can't be done, or you believe me or you don't, or I don't give a fuck. Let me do the research. Let me try to see if it works for me. And let me adjust it. And I need all of it. I need to know. I need the full download. And I'm not taking no shortcuts. I ain't taking no shortcuts. So if you tell me you got to do X, Y, Z, this, that, the other, and you get in the cold water, and you got to dive deep in the cold water, I'm like, well, I'm allergic to, I got a condition that says, I'm doing that shit. Because to me, death is better than living a life full of rules and in a culturescape. I'm just going to say it. Fuck that shit. You remember the saying, give me liberty or give me death? I can't. I'd rather not be here. So I have zero problem with challenging my fears, any of that shit. You got to get to that space. If you stuck on a fear. If you stuck on an insecurity. If you stuck, most of the time, you stuck because of internal insecurity, your need to belong to something, wanting to belong, or your fears, internal fears. You don't want to step outside your comfort zone. You don't want to step outside your comfort zone. If you stuck and you're pissed because you're stuck and you're not where you want to be, You are stuck because you do not want to move outside your comfort zone. You opened it up enough and you like, I tried so hard. Or man, how much more you want me to change? If I change anymore, I'm not going to be me. I didn't say that to I've said that before. Not true. That's your scary motherfucking voice talking. That's that scary shit. There's times where I am so scared and I gotta punk myself. There's times where I'm that scared too. But I got another voice that deboes me, that deboes that voice. If you don't shut your little punk ass up, get the fuck up. Stop acting like a mark. That voice is in the cuts reserved. Like I've groomed that voice and buffed that person up, prepared them, fed them, rewarded it, because I need you. In case I'm supremely acting like a bitch, I need you to jump in there and punch me in the head. Like that's my proverbial internal older brother. I have 5 older brothers. So I pulled one persona, and that persona lives in me in case of emergency. In case of emergency, where I get the time where I went skydiving, shit. You on a plane, dangling your legs out of a plane, 10, 30, 40,000 feet in the air, that wall of fear comes up. So I tried all the nice shit. Okay, you ready, Courtney? Let's do this. Jump on out. Okay, jump on out. No, that shit was not working. I was frozen. Man, I had to activate. Man, if you don't get jumped, get out the motherfucking plane. Jump. Okay. Like any means necessary. But because of that, how hard it was to get there, the juices of life, man, amazing. The lifestyle, amazing. Because miracles are going to happen. Synchronicities is going to happen in your life. Life is going to open up to you because you become completely on a different frequency. The fear frequency is loud. You know how they say a dog can sniff fear? Animals can sniff fear? It's because that scent is loud. That vibration is strong. So same thing. You can't, your fear, that scent is strong. Things ain't gonna come to you when you you ain't ready for that shit. Get over that fear shit first. You ain't ready because you gonna fuck it up. All right. Let's move on. Next one.
The great gift of being human is our capacity to see the world anew, invent new solutions, and then use what we know to transform our lives and change our worlds.
Hey, this is the most exciting shit. The most beautiful shit in the world as a human. We're not other animals, right? If you're a lion, or if you're a tiger, or if you're a fish, if you're whatever animal you are, you're that till it's over. You're that until you get eaten. You're a fish till it's over. You die, you get eaten. The beautiful thing about being a human is that at any moment you can start over and be something different. Any moment. Any moment you can change. Any moment. To me, that's some of the most exciting shit, because no matter where I am in life, if I'm down, I got faith and confidence that I don't got to be here long. We hear stories about Nana talking about him having $20 a week. Food, gas, everything. That means for that to be true, he had to be on a low vibration for that to be his rhythm. Can you imagine? Think about him on a low vibration. The beauty of it is you can be anything you want. You could be a dope fiend today and you can be a doctor tomorrow. It's possible. The spectrum of my life, people who know me, man, I've touched this motherfucker. I've touched this motherfucker. I've been all over the place. I've been all over the place. And the beauty of it is I've always known that this doesn't have to define me where I am right now. Don't have to define you. Wherever you are right now, you can change. You just have to break your rules. You cannot get there without breaking your rules. You cannot get there without breaking your rules, because the rules are what got you where you are. The rules are what got you where you are. I'm going to say it one more time. Your rules is what got you where you are. So if you want to go somewhere different, you got to break the shit. All of them. All of them. You got to break all of your rules. And there's some rules you can pick back up and put in your box, put them back in, but you have to be willing to break them. Whether it's your religion, whether it's what your mama told you, whether it's your friends, that Oakland shit, what it means to be black, that hood shit, all of it. I'm not tied to no, I stopped being tied to what being from Oakland and from hood means. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I want to be happy, wealthy, responsible, contributing, good, advancing human. That's what I want to be. Now, wherever the rest of that shit fits in, whether the city I'm from, the color, the hood, my vernacular, it has to squeeze in the empty spaces of the rest of all those things. So if any of those things conflict with any of my rules of who I want to be, it got to go. Fuck about no. Man, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. It don't serve me. Plus, I've been there. I've tried it. I ain't got nothing else to prove around this motherfucker. And where does it got me? Nowhere. My life didn't change until I threw it in the garbage and said, all right, I'm starting over. Who do I want to be? What do I want to be? What do I want to do? And work backwards from that. What do those people do? What do wealthy people do? I want to be wealthy. I want to be happy. I want my relationships to be strong, long lasting. Okay, well, what kind of behavior do those people have? Let me find out. Let me go find some. Hey, what do you do? Do you buy gold chains? So I grew up around gold chains and gold and bling. So wait a minute, you don't have a gold chain? That's our culture. Black people, man, we laugh at that shit. If you don't get the fuck out of here with that gold shit, gold chains and bling and gold teeth, that's not what wealthy people do. Oh, okay. So let me check that off my list. What you listening to? I'm listening to books, audio books, podcasts. Oh, well, let me do that. I'm in a gym every day. I'm working I'm eating good. I'm getting good rest so that I'm my optimal self. Oh, that makes sense. Let me do that. Like, I minimize my dark side as much as I possibly can so I don't have distractions. Oh, okay. I don't watch TV hardly that much. Oh, okay. As I take notes, I'm ousting other things. So you got it. Like, that's the name of this game. If you don't, like, you can listen to it and this all sounds good, but if you don't start the actual practice, this is just more knowledge that you know of and you can speak to, but it's not affecting or positively impacting your life at all. Next one.
Question your rules. Is it based in hope and trust in humanity?
Keep going.
Does it violate the golden rule? Did I get it, I'm guessing, from culture or religion? Is it based on rational choice or contagion? Does it serve my happiness? How is it working for me? Okay,
so this answers the question to people who are like, what does it mean we could just do whatever the fuck we want to? No. There's certain golden rules and basic rules in society that allow us to function amongst each other. One of them is the golden rule. Do unto others as you want to be done unto you. However, even the golden rule has limitations. Why? Why does the golden rule have limitations? Because the do unto me differs amongst other people. So not everybody's do unto me is the same threshold. I'm an extremist. I'm an extremist. So there's a lot you can do unto me. So if I keep that same energy to you, it may not be as fun, or vice versa. And there's other people who have even a higher threshold than me. So that also has to be tampered and tempered. But it's still giving you an idea of, does it violate humanity's basic rules of being kind to one another, treating each other in a certain manner that perpetuates society? And if you have a rule that says people are bad, if you automatically assume and your rule is that people are bad, you're going to behave accordingly. So if I say black people steal, that's my belief and that's my rule. Black people steal. Then how I move on the elevator, when you're walking down the street and passing me, when I see you in a room, if I got to work with you, if any black person is in a relationship with anybody in my family, I'm going to move. My behavior, my habits, my personality is all going to change based on that rule. So then I can't build anything without thinking about that rule. It corrupts everything that I do. You see what I'm saying? So us as humans have to move that we are naturally good. Humans are good. We have behaviors at times that put us in dark spaces, and we do things at times. Some humans do things at times that are destructive, bad that hurts people, whatever. But as a rule of thumb, a normal rule, humanity is good. And we have evidence of that. As soon as you walk outside, there's violence in pockets. But if humans were naturally not good, imagine the type of chaos that would be happening all the time, at any moment, every second. So it's a truth. That's an absolute truth. But we got to move with that that belief and that behavior. Did I get it from culture or religion? Man, this should be, did I get it from culture and a whole dialogue? Did I get it from religion and a whole dialogue? Because the two are heavy. They're big. We got this thing in black culture called GP. You know what GP is? Not Gary Payton. GP is General Principle. And it's a book that black people have written that it took us years to write. It took probably 400 years to write the book of General Principle. And most of us follow this book like it's our Bible. And most of it comes hindsight because of behavior that somebody exhibits. And then we go back and open up the book and say, well, you should have just did that on GP. Which means you should have known better. You should have known that your behavior is counter with what's in this book, chapter 13, verses 4 of GP. We follow these bullshit ass rules of general principle they're destructive. Like our culture, we have to shift, and we have to be brave enough to break outside of our cultural rules and laws, our cultural rules, in order for us to thrive. Because we make a lot of shit look cool. We make depression look cool. Black folks, we so cool. We so smooth. We so slick. We so beautiful. We got so much swag. So much culture. So much rhythm. So much music. We're so artistic. We can make depression look appealing. We can make violence cool. We can make killing each other cool. Think about that shit. Our music, Our music is talking about getting the ops, and shooting down the ops, and killing the ops, and killing this dude, killing that, and that becomes a number one hit. That's a number one hit. Nobody want to talk about that shit. Who's your favorite artist? Lil Durk, Lil Baby, Da Baby, NBA Youngboy. Like, you naming off kids who they raps is about killing as many other black boys as possible. That's on the other side of the street. And we make that cool. We glamorize them. We give them the millions and the flossing and the chains and the followers and all that shit. And we don't say nothing because the music sound good. The music sound good. Shit. That shit slaps. Nipsey Hussle stay in my rotation. So I'm not the one to just be and I'm not taking him out probably either. Cardi B, all that shit. Cardi B, I know exactly what positions Cardi B be having sex in because she told us. She tells me what kind of sex she had, what she do, all the shit. Like, she gives us the blueprint of what she do in the bed. That shit slap, though. That shit slap. And we've been doing this shit for years. We've been doing this shit for years. I remember when I used to go out a lot, it just used to boggle my mind. It's dating me. When It Ain't No Fun When the Homies Can't Have None song came on in the club. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. And watch all the women in the club sing it word for word. What does that mean? What the fuck does that mean? I mean, our culturescape is corrupted, and there's millions of things like that in our culturescape that we have to uncover. Once you start questioning one, it becomes a rabbit hole, and a fun one. And not so fun, because some of that shit might be like, ooh, you know what? I don't want to be that religion no more. It might be that. Oh, shit. I don't want to be that religion no more. Or I don't want to be married to you no more. Or I quit. Or I ain't hanging around y'all no more. Or my best friend's going to change. That's the parts that's going to hurt a little bit. But it's a beautiful metamorphosis that you're going to take as you go through this journey. Is it based on rational choice or contagion? So that goes back to the science question. A lot of that COVID disease, coronavirus, vaccine, doctors, there was a lot of confusion because there was experts everywhere. There's a new YouTube video everywhere. So a lot of that was social contagion. So the data, the information, the facts were buried in between all of that social contagion. That's why you, as the conscious entrepreneur, as the creator of your culturescape, you're looking for facts. You're going for facts and data and facts and data and context and content and facts and data, content, context, facts and data. If you like the white man and the white man don't, it's a conspiracy. You own some shit like that. You're still caught in your own rules by the culturescape. You're caught like a fish in a net, thinking you're in control because you got thrown into a fish tank when you was in the ocean. It's just the real. Does it serve my happiness, and how is it working for me? That goes back to you, right? We selfish, right? We selfish. That goes back to you. Is this good for me? I don't give a shit if everybody's doing that shit. Is it good for me? I stopped eating meat in 2007 because it wasn't good for me no more. I don't give a, Meat is, I'm not a scientist. I don't know whether or not meat is good or not for society and this and that. And is it good for me? I mean, how do I feel when I'm not doing it? How do I feel when I'm doing it? How do I feel when I'm not doing it? How do I feel when I'm doing it? And I'm not married to either way. I'm not doing it. I feel great. Then I'm not doing it no more. Oh shit, I need some more protein. Well, let me add a couple things. Let me add some fish. Let me add some shrimp and just I'm good. Just last year, just 2021, I checked. I ain't ate meat in years. I'm like, is this still a thing? Let me try. For 1 month, I was going hard. Man, I was fucking some chicken wings up. Then my body was like, yeah, remember why we stopped doing that? I'm about to start doing this to you again. I'm like, oh, shit. Okay, you still there. All right, well, no more. We good. We'll go back. Because does it work for me? That's like, get in that space. You are the creator now. You're the son now. That means your goal is to be an ecosystem for somebody, for your family, for your friends, for the community, for your city, maybe nationally, maybe the world. But you have to, you have to prioritize you as the ecosystem. What's next?
You can live like the rules don't apply to you, but it takes courage to break those barriers.
Man, if you be a fly on the wall around an entrepreneur talking about the fun, the amazing shit that happened throughout their life, it will blow you the fuck away. Like, you can literally live like the rules don't apply to you because you're creating new ones. I invent my own shit. Now I create my own world. That world, that's your world. You can have that. If it's not a law, It takes courage though. It takes courage. Like I told you, I took 2 complete L's on my first attempt to start breaking away from real triggered Culturescape shit. It was hard for me. It took me a few times, but that's how you do it. You just keep trying. But the world you can live in, man, that's partly why I'm here. That's a lot why I'm here. Because I love black people and I want that for you. I want that for you. I want that for you. Shit, I want that for you. I want you to feel that. You deserve that. I want that for you. But entrepreneurship is not one of those things you can't pass it down to nobody. You can't subsidize it. You can't give it. If that was the case, all rich, wealthy entrepreneurs' sons will be successful. Sons and daughters. But most of the time they fuck it off. It's a high percentage of them who fuck it off. Because that's not something you can just hand to somebody. Here's the game. Here's all the game. Don't work. Because it requires courage and it requires you to break through those fears, however you break through. But it requires you to break through your fears. And then the life you could live, people will be like, how? How you get so lucky? Or what? It's not fair. Like what? Damn, another win? Another one? Mate, like, we in this brother's studio, he makes millions of dollars, multi-million dollars. Let's say that, multi-millions of dollars. And he is my hood partner from East Oakland, who, as we know, a few vibrations ago, $20 a week for everything. Come on, blood. That should tell you something. I should tell you something. I was on EBT. Let me tell you, in the 2010s, I was on EBT, using EBT card at the grocery store. My 6'2" ass, 200-pound ass at the grocery store with an EBT card. Checkers looking at me like, Oh, you can go to work. I was so broken, I couldn't generate $1. My vibration was so low, I couldn't generate $1. I needed assistance. Imagine that. That's how the beauty, like the other slides of you can create, you can be this today and that tomorrow. You can be this today and that tomorrow. There's people who don't like me from 20 years ago. Shit, the new me don't like the 20-year-old version of me back then. I wouldn't have liked me either. I was a knucklehead. There's people still holding on to that. Not even realizing that corpse of me doesn't even exist anymore. That's the beauty of being able to grow and change. But again, that shit takes courage. All right. So what does that mean, the story of the cool kids? Story of the cool kids is this. We all grew up most of us grew up in inner city environments, right? And so all schools were separated by different hierarchies of people. You had the kings of the school, right? The people who fought the best, the queens of the school. You had the jocks, the people who played sports. You had the hood dudes, the gangsters. You had the cholos. Everybody was segmented in their category, right? And you had the cool kids, who kind of were almost a little bit of everything. They dressed the best. They were beautiful or good looking, handsome. They had swag. They got a little charisma to them. They were popular. Everybody fucked with them in school. They was cool with everybody. They walked down the hallway and they slapping hands from the minute they walk in the hallway to the minute they go in their class because they was the cool kids. Some of us may have been one of those, may have been the cool kid. But a lot of us, if you were the cool kid, that was your culturescape. And right now, you're jailed by that persona of the cool kid. You can't get out of your own way and you can't reach your success because you're still trying to be fucking cool. You're trying to be the cool kid in high school. Best dress, best this, best that. Your rules, what you do and don't do is all around perception of what it looks like for you. You're still trying to be the fucking cool kid. And that's why you broke. That's why you ain't there. That's why you've been trying hard and ain't got no shit. Because you're trying to be too cool. You're trying to be cool. You're still trying to live out that coolness. At a certain point, you got to break that shit. And it's hard. Every year of growth, I try to break more pieces away of that cool kid shit. Because I was a cool kid. I was cool. I was rebellious. I was this, I was that. I didn't really give a fuck. So I was the cool kid. So then when you start wanting to be responsible and wealthy and all the tools that you need for growth and development, a lot of that cool shit don't apply no more. And that's part of your identity. So you're like, shit, I'm going to look like a cornball if I do this. I'm going to be a nerd if I do this. And you're just trying to hold on to as much as your coolness, but a lot of that shit is what holds you back. And for the rest of us who wasn't that cool kid in school, they spend the rest of their adulthood trying to be that. The fuck you doing at 50 years old buying all the Jordans when they come out? For what? Who are you trying to impress? Invest in some shit. You spending $250 standing in lines to get the newest. Come on, blood. Because you weren't the cool kid. So now you got some resources that you could dress a little better, you could do it, and you chasing, the rest of your life is you chasing that 4 years of high school. That's the culturescape you stuck in. And the worst part about it is you never got to live it because you wasn't it. And the juxtaposition of it all is that once you live in your power and you become the master of your culturescape, you become cool as fuck. Man, you become cool. It may not be to that tiny group that you was trying to please, but for the rest of the world, you cool as fuck. Because you just turned water into wine. You just made thousands of pieces of bread from one loaf, because of, in their mind, the transition from who you are to who you became was a fucking amazing. You become the cool kid. Steve Jobs, Elon Musk. Come on, like that's the real shit. So we got to embrace like black culture. We try to be cool so much because we hella good at roasting each other. So to avoid being roasted, my wardrobe got to be crazy. I got to spend money on just the physical shit. Come on, blood. Like, what we got to do is attack with a vengeance all the rules that are within our culturescape, and we got to be willing to look naked, look vulnerable. I told y'all, when I dove in, I tried all the religions. I became everything. No cap, no lie. When I went to Buddhism, I was 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturdays in Chinatown with all them Chinese people doing Tai Chi. Go out, you can go ask them. Every weekend, because I immersed myself in the culture. Because I don't care how I look. I want to change. I don't like my living situation, so I don't give a fuck. It's temporary anyway. I don't care how I look. I tried all the shit. I've done ayahuasca 5 times. I've done meditate. I've done all kind of crazy shit to what other people would consider crazy in the name of my own personal growth, to get outside my comfort zone. That's because I don't know where it's at. I don't know what it is. So I search for it. Hindu, Buddhism, Christianity, Sikh, mystical, psychic, whatever the fuck. I dove in there and tried to figure it out and see if it worked for me. This is some bullshit. Oh, these are some motherfucking scam artists. Oh, well, at least I know. Moving on. Oh, man, this is amazing. Confucianism, amazing. Stoicism, amazing. Buddhism, Hindu, amazing. Like, there's so much amazement in other cultures. Come on, blood. Like, this is the real. So then, on the outcome, you become so cultured, and you can cross-reference your knowledge, you become dangerous. So fuck that cool kid shit. Last slide.
When you make your own rules, you decide what you let in or reject. You create a rule filter and everything goes through it.
Hey, so now everybody from this point on, I don't give a fuck that train's coming. I'm talking over that shit. You got to have a rule filter. I didn't knock the cup down. You got to have a rule filter. That means from this point on, you're in manual mode. So everything you do is up for question. Why am I doing this? Why? Does this serve me? Is this good for me? And it's on the chopping block, period. This can go. Why am I running around for this person? Like, does this person add value to me? Does this person serve me? No. Why am I doing it? Because that person is cool and I'm just trying to chase the cool kid. Get the fuck up out of it. Like, it gets silly at certain points when you get real with yourself. When you get real with yourself, there's certain insecurities that I still have that I'm working through. At a certain point, I'm not going to even be talking about my childhood or hood shit no more. I can't wait. Or how tough I am, or this, that, or other, or beat up, who I fought. One day, I'm not even going to be talking. It's going to be a mystery because I have continued to work through it to where I don't need validation for it. I don't need to feel. I don't even need. Like, we all works in progress. But you got to create your filter starting now to say, all right, why am I doing this? Is this a pot thing? And question them. And if it doesn't serve you, you throw it in the trash can. You throw it in the trash can. Thank you for reading, Shakina. Any questions?
It's up to you if you want to address this question. I think this microphone just makes your voice sound deeper. Because my voice ain't never sounded this goddamn deep. I think I'm going to take this home and talk to my family with this microphone. Like, hey, where's my sandwich at?
It's a Tone Vic mic.
You know what I mean? It gives you extra. I can even see myself, like, hey, y'all go to bed. I ain't playing this game with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Well, anyway, the the Morpheus posed a question. I think I've responded to most of the questions or comments, but Morpheus posed a question and said, if you believe in do unto others as you wish to do unto you, isn't that fairness? Even though we know fairness does not exist. Now I know that's a very philosophical question. I don't know if you want to take time now or you want to just bring that back in your next class. It's up to you.
I mean, I touched on it a little bit earlier, right? About that isn't always exactly the truth, is because the do unto you might be different than what you want to do to others. So that's relative. So understanding what the do unto you actually means is relative amongst different people. So if you don't like living in a space of, well, what I'll say is this. There's a certain moral compass that we talked about earlier in terms of just how to treat people, right? Treating people in ways that make them feel valued or having an assumption that people are good is the move, right? So the golden rule states doing it to others, but also there's a moral code within you that understands that people are good and you want to be valued and treated in a way that makes you feel appreciated, important, valued. We can go more when you talk about next week when we talk about conscious engineering. We can go in more detail, but that's pretty much basic. You know what I'm saying?
To Marquita, first I want to say something before I move forward. Marquita said my voice was deep and loud. I just want to say pause. Second thing is, I don't think do unto others as they do unto you is a concept of fairness, because you're projecting idea of ethics. And in ethics, fairness is another layer to it, but it's not. It has nothing to do with fairness, right? Because fairness is relative to the receiver. And so even though I'm doing kind by you or doing right by you, doesn't mean that fairness is perceived, right? Like once, and I think this is important because as you grow a business and you make more money, what you think is fair, often those who are receiving, it may not translate the same. But go do unto others as you do it to them is really a statement of empathy and caring and ethics more than it is about fairness. So I just want to add that little element to it.
All right. Shit, if there's no other questions, I guess I'll see you guys next week then, and we'll keep this train going. All right? I don't have an outro yet. I haven't thought about it. So I'll see y'all later. Bye. Adios. Peace and chicken grease. Bye.